I'm a really optimistic person. I like to think of myself as a positive person, but like so many people, these last few weeks have been impossibly difficult. But in a bid to kind of pull myself out of the hole I've been in, I've tried to look to the future that my children will step into. But in a bid to do that, I've had to look at the past. You guys who follow me know my dad, you know him as the leaf blower. But the reality is, my dad moved to the UK in the 60s. And when he arrived in the UK, people would check for his tail to see if he had one. He had coffee thrown in his face, hot coffee. He was spat at. He couldn't rent a place to live because it was no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. He would tell me these stories, and they felt like something relegated to the past, something that we had moved on from. I stepped into a future that I determined was going to be different. I didn't have my dad's complete support for being an actor because he was scared that I would face the same marginalization and racism that he had faced. And so I didn't get the usual support I would get from my dad because of the pain he had experienced. But I did it anyway. I was blessed enough to play the King of England at the Royal Shakespeare Company, and my dad turned a corner and was proud of me. But what he didn't know is that every day there were people who were having to sift through my fan mail because I was getting so much hate mail for playing that role at the Royal Shakespeare Company. We eventually left the UK because, to be perfectly frank, it was challenged being a black person in my industry there at that time. But being someone who's optimistic, I felt, you know what, let's keep moving forward. I am going to build on what my dad gave me, on the opportunities the UK gave me, moved to America, and then played Dr. King in Selma, which was an amazing moment for me, and then got attacked for playing that role whilst being married to a white woman. And that became a whole other challenge to face again along these racial lines. This is not like losing one's life like George Floyd, but I'm just trying to help you guys who've been reaching out to me asking how I am, just what it is we black people face, and you may not always know. We did that film as well, and decided to, at the premiere of it, protest the death of Eric Garner wearing I Can't Breathe t-shirts. There were Academy members, the Oscars here in America, who called the studio and said, why are these actors stirring SHIT? Why, who do they think they are? We were protesting the death of a black man. And we felt we had the right to do that. They said, we are not going to vote for that film because they have the audacity to be protesting when all they are is actors. While this is going on, Brexit is happening. I've told you about what happened with my dad, but we think we're in a new day. My brother, who's a healthcare provider, is on the trains coming home from work. People are telling him, go back to where you came from. A few months, several months later, the pandemic hits. And now those same people who were telling him, go back to where you came from, are now applauding him for being a healthcare provider during a pandemic. So you feel like you have these moments of progress. I look at my dad and I go, well, things are better now than they were then. But you constantly get slapped in the face with the reality that things are essentially the same. And the thing that has really brutalized me this week has been watching my eldest son, who graduated last week. I'll be honest with you. I was walking past his bedroom and I heard sobbing. And I went in to see my son, and he was broken because he didn't quite understand the world he had graduated into. And I couldn't give him any comfort. We've had the talk about how to interact with police here in America, but George Floyd wasn't resisting arrest. Amy Cooper decided to weaponize the police against a birdwatcher in New York. We are not safe. And even though I'm an optimistic person, I now look to my son, having watched my father suffer what he suffered, some of what I have faced. There's so much more I could tell you of what I have faced. But I want a world where my son doesn't have to face those things. So I'm just recording this, having just watched George Floyd's funeral, where everyone was asked to be silent for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and that is such a long time. That is such a long time to have a man's knee on your neck. Please let the future not be the same for my son as it has been for my dad, for me, and for so many black people over the centuries. So my friends who are reaching out to me saying, how are you doing? I'm not doing great. So link arms with me as we try and go into a future that is better than the past that we have had to endure. Black people didn't create this situation we find ourselves in. It therefore can't be on us to change it. It's going to be down to all of us.